Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I am taking a look at Transformers Generations Selects Super Megatron. And here we've got Super Megatron in front of us in his tank mode, and he is looking very anime. It's interesting because, I mean, objectively I think this doesn't look great. It looks a lot like, a robot squatting down. But this isn't that far off from the very original design intent behind Super Megatron when it was going to come out in the Japanese cartoon and toy line, and then Marauder Megatron that was going to homage him in animated. So it's a toy that I was really excited to get my hands on. What I'm most impressed about is, this is Super Megatron here in this, crazy anime-looking tank mode. Nuts. This is a remold of Titan's Return Galvatron, and there's how much molding those guys share. You can tell, down here on the legs, and then a bit of the arm, like these shoulders, but not even, and this forearm piece, but then this piece is remolded differently. So it's just super interesting to see the extent that went into how much they remolded Megatron to get him looking as different as possible and get the Super Megatron look correct. And he is a super tank. I mean, that's a crazy three-barreled cannon. I love the articulation in this cannon. He can point down, he can point up, it can rock back to back. The whole turret can slide, obviously. It's not the strongest connection because it's a pretty shallow 5mm peg. He's got non-functioning treads on his front and the two tiniest treads on his back, so he can slide, but there's no casters there. But still, it's pretty neat that they got this mode in here. I think that the focus was definitely on his jet alt mode, which we're going to go to next, and we're going to see that. To me, that looks like the better mold, the better mode for this mold. To transform him, first we got to create his jet cockpit, which we're going to take his cannon. This back end piece folds down, which lets us fold this gray piece up, which lets us take those cannons and lock them away and fold around to get this front cannon piece, which lets us fold down this piece, which is kind of his cockpit, which has you can see a port on this front of a hexagon shape that has a peg on the cannon that can match, that can stick right there, and that forms a pretty solid connection. I appreciate, even if there's no connection at the bottom, there's two tabs that sink in and really lock things into place. We fold these wings out here, we fold these wings out here, like so and like so, and then we are going to untab his knee guards from his biceps. Same on this side. Flip around his legs, which kind of surprised me because you'd think you'd still want treads at the bottom, but they tell us to flip things around. And collapse his legs. That's the much more traditional Galvatron leg position from that mold. And yeah, here we've got a very swooshable jet. It's weird, it's alien, but I really dig it. I like, these painted missile launchers up front. I feel like in this mode, just more colors come out. We get to see the tops of the wings, which I like the mix of light and dark gray up top. I love the red accents that we see now that the front, that yellow and red of the gun cannon is present. He's got, these tiny two wheels, and that's about it. But supposing he's maybe a space plane that doesn't really need to touch the ground or he transforms, he does look very alien and very Cybertronian, and I dig that a lot. And you might notice in this review, I'm not really comparing him to other Megatrons. That's on purpose. I don't know how much value there is, since he is such a unique take in alt mode. All right, now we can get him into his robot mode. We're going to start by, again, disconnecting that cannon piece. We can come in and we can pop out these legs. They are double jointed hinges back here. Same thing on this side. Just pop that out. I seem to constantly disconnect these hip skirt pieces. They They aren't the tightest. I mean, it's a a double peg into a two-sided hole, but they do tend to pop off. We can flip down his feet. I mean, that's just a very Galvatron leg design from Titan's Return. That's the exact same mold besides these additional treads. We're going to pop our camera up. We've got these legs. They can collapse these treads behind and fill them out super nicely. I really, really like that. His shoulders can rotate upward, and we can get those out of the way. We can fold down, disconnecting his forearm from his bicep, fold out his hands on each side. Same thing on this side. We can flip around. Oh, there it is again. Now I gotta find that guy. Once we reconnect our skirt piece, we can rotate his legs around now that we've rotated his waist around. And we can come in behind and fold up his wings like so. Just stick him in the back here. No needs to worry about these wings. And then we just fold down this chest piece. And he's got two robot modes, which I guess I didn't 100% realize when I first got the figure, when I pre-ordered it. But it does impress me. We're going to flip down this chest piece for his first robot mode. Flip out the standard. There's our standard Megatron chest. And we'll notice that is not a standard Megatron head sculpt. But that's because we're just going to flip it up. And in what I think is a very cool feature, flip it up, rotate the Megatron face. A little hard to get. There we go. Yeah, and there is kind of regular Megatron or regular Super Megatron. I don't know what exactly to call him, but I give him his arm cannon. I think this is a pretty neat looking Megatron mold. As you've seen in my previous videos probably, I have a bunch of Megatrons. He's the exception to my rule about one of each character, because I like to imagine each Megatron is special and unique in their own way. So I'm glad to have this guy on my shelf. I think he looks great. Let's get in close on that head sculpt. That just looks so good, so characterful, super anime, super great. I love that they've picked out, the little sides of his helmet, his weird little, whatever pattern on top of his helmet. Again, we've got classic Megatron colors here. We've got a lot of red accents on top of gray and black. Those legs look sleek. It's hard for me. I could compare him to other figures, but I don't know there's value in doing that, because I think he just does so much his own thing. He's got good articulation. His head can waggle and look up and down and all that stuff. His shoulders can go out so far. He kind of has to move his missile launchers, his shoulder missile launchers back, but I think that's totally okay. They can go up so far before they start getting into his missile launchers. He does, because of his transformation, he does have a good double jointed elbow. No bicep swivel, yes, but no wrist articulation, which is fine. There is waist rotation because of his transformation, and again, we want to watch out for those hip skirts, but they do get out of the way, so we can 100% Van Damme, no problem. We've got thigh swivel. We've got deep knees. That goes perfectly 90, which is just fine. And we do, this is not a War for Cybertron figure, but we do have ankle tilt due to his transformation, and I think that makes him look menacing and dynamic and just everything that I want Megatron to be. I think this is the way I will display this Megatron. I like to play around and transform him, but I think this robot mode is the way I want to display him. He does have another mode, which I really dig. We can take off this cannon first. We'll do his body. We want to flip down his shield, his chest shield again, flip it around, and we get this kind of unique. Let me get in close and show that comparison. So our Decepticon logo is bigger. We've got kind of a different mismatch on his chest design. Here is his default. Here is him powering up into super mode. We can come in on this head again. We can flip it around one more time. Into that Marauder Super Megatron face, which to me really homages I guess this was intentional on the part of the Bay movie designers, but it looks a lot like the Megatron mask from the last Bay movie. What was that? Age of Apocalypse or Age of Extinction something? I forget what it was called. I never saw it, but that space jet Megatron that we got in the last movie is what it reminds me of. We're going to take our cannon. Again, we can tab it in on the sides here after we split that cannon piece. We can come in underneath, pull out our gray backing piece, pull out our cannon. There we go. And we're just going to pop this sucker off, close things back up, and we get this like weird looking shield thing, which can of course connect just fine up top here. There we go. If we want to give him back his cannon, we can still do that, or we can leave it open and it's like both a shield and a missile launcher, which I think is kind of neat. Just give him as much Super Robot anime missile spam as possible. And instead, this cannon is going to go up top here. And that peg is a little tight, but there is Super Megatron. And he has that great heroic silhouette, even though he's a villain. He's got that big chest. He can do his nice like S stance, which looks awesome. He's got, this missile launcher and these missile launchers, and probably his tits can open up into more missile launchers, and probably these abs can be missile launchers, and, his shield is a missile launcher. It's just, we could flip out these legs, and those are missile launchers. Like, it reminds me of just the, like, gratuitous missile spam that we could get in like Gundam shows like Heavy Arms from Gundam Wing or things like that. It's just so over the top and ridiculous in its design. They just went to the extreme, and I love every bit of it. It's not a classic Megatron design. It's a Megatron that we never got, that fans were always curious about over the years, and Generation Selects gave it to us, which is super awesome. So that's what I appreciate about Super Megatron. I think it's a great figure. I will say for the price, for $70, I am super happy with him. But if you get the chance to get one on sale at like a convention deal or something for $50, I'd highly, highly recommend picking him up. He just looks great, and he can have a very unique spot in your collection. And that's it on Super Megatron. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you all later. See ya!